Welcome to the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and I am on the mission to change the narrative of immigration, one immigrant story at a time. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and today I have Maritza. Hello, Maritza. How are you today?
Hi, Heidi. Very, very well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for actually coming back. So, fun story, not so fun story, guys. This is what happens when you're a podcaster and technology does not want to work. So, Maritza and I had actually originally scheduled we recorded this episode months ago. And when I went to go edit, something happened to the audio. It just was like in slow-mo. And then when I tried to speed it up to make it sound normal, we sounded like some chipmunks. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't have us sounding like chipmunks on the podcast. So Maritza's so kind to be able to re-record her episode again. I thank you so much for appreciate, being able to do this again. And, that's one of the things with like technology. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm so glad we're able to do this again.
Great. It is a pleasure for me because I got to see you again.
Oh,
this time not in person, but at least we're able to see each other.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about technology is like we're still able to do this virtually, and even though the first time we did it in person, but it's trial and error, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But thank you again so much for coming back. And your story, you came from Bogota, Colombia. You were as an adult. So I just want to get started, you introducing yourself to the audience, who you are, what you do, and how was it growing up in Colombia?
So, okay, so I was born and raised as a Catholic in Bogota, Colombia, like straight and very, very strict Catholic family. And we were raised by my parents. My mother left work to take care of the three of us, three girls. I am the little one of the family, the entire family, the baby, the last granddaughter and everything. So I have cousins that had kids that are my age.
Wow. Okay.
So it was a family full of love, very nice, going to to the farm during the weekends and buying the fresh fruit, fresh veggies, like just from the farmers market, the actual little town where my father was from. That town is a town of coffee makers, but they are not in the coffee maker, not in the central, but down south of Bogota. So the coffee, tastes a little different, but it's really good still. Then I grew up there in Bogota with my parents and really good food, fresh food, and went to Catholic schools, Catholic universities, and fast forward, we moved to US. I moved to US. My sister was already living here. She had been here for several years. And one of my parents' clients wanted my father propose some business. And my father and my mom and I came here. I was an adult. I can now say I have been half of my life in Colombia and half of my life here in US. So we came here. We 6 months later, we're like planning everything. Everything is going through the way it's supposed to. My father got a stomachache. We that he couldn't, like, it was really unbearable pain.
Yeah.
And we took him to the hospital. And only to find out that my father had cancer. It was way too soon for us to be here. I always tell people, don't get rid of your health insurance from your country. And we didn't until you have been here for more than a year or something like that. So we kind of like debate between here and there. And then we decided that my parents needed to come back. The language, everything was better to come back. He had already doctors established in Colombia. And 6 months later, after that, my father died.
I'm so sorry about that.
It was very hard for us. So then suddenly, plan that was for a family, I was by myself. And I with my sister. And I didn't know what to do. Everybody that was around us were down. You have to stay. We're gonna help you. And the person that offered my father the negotiations honor that to my father by helping me with sponsorships and whatnot. So I was able to stay. And I had many people from church and everything helping us. Then I got married. I had a daughter and moved to Orlando because I first came to Birmingham, Alabama. So I'm a Bama girl. When I moved to Orlando, I moved to meet with the love of my life, who came from London. He was in London and we met here in Orlando. His family was already here. And then the rest is the story. We got married, we had a child, but we always pursued one of the things that this guy told us was, told me, the person that, the people that help us, was like, don't stay where you are now, move up. You don't forget that you have a degree. Don't forget who you are, and pursue your dreams. You are in the land of the dreams. And grow, always grow. So that's what I did. I always don't stay where I am today. And I always try to grow. So that's what we did. And I started pursuing different positions, and I ended up working in construction, in project management. I went through many things, but in the beginning, I was babysitting, and it was mainly because I wanted to perfect my English.
Okay.
And with children, it's the best way to do it because children do not judge you.
Oh.
They actually teach you. And you learn with the movies and the different programs. It's very cute. And then you move up, and then I moved up, and I started working as a secretary, then administrative assistant. Then I got a job at Disney as a merchandise hostess part-time. And I say, I will, in 1 year, I'm going to be working in an office. You watch. 9 months, I got the job.
Oh, look at that.
Yes. And then I grew from there to be a project administrator, and being at Disney helped me a lot to learn the ethics, the way a corporation works, a big corporation, also to build teams. And then from there, I wanted to move to other things, and I was already in construction with Disney. So I moved to general contractors and working for smaller companies. And then I hold a degree from Colombia as an industrial engineer. Ooh. So I know about, defining processes, quality control, quality management, things like that. So, but mainly was defining processes. So that's kind of like the thing that I have always done in all my professional career, per se. And when COVID hit, that's when I said, this is not how I'm going to end. This is not, I need to open my own company. So I opened up my own company. It was meant to be just as another stream of income, but now is my main income. And we have a boutique of virtual assistants. What we do is we book people in podcasts. We book our niche as speakers, authors, and coaches. and any entrepreneur who wants to be in podcast interviews, like I am today.
Like you
With
are
you.
today. Awesome. Wow. What an amazing journey. And I'm glad that you were able to use your degree here. Because I know that's one thing that like a lot of immigrants are like they have a degree from back home, but unfortunately are not able to use it here. So that's amazing that you were able to do that. And I did wanted to ask because I know you had mentioned about the learning English and that's why you wanted to work with or they babysit and stuff. Did you learn English back home or did you learn English here
I learned English in school,
in
and
school? Okay.
but in Colombia. But when I came here, that's a funny thing. You think you know English,
That's a
so
common answer. It's a very common answer.
so and then on top of that, I moved to Birmingham, Alabama.
Yep.
I didn't understand anything they said. I wasn't sure. I said, I used to say, I'm not quite sure if that is English. Um, and they didn't understand me either. It was
Oh,
they didn't understand my English. So it was actually a beautiful, I'm going to say a beautiful experience, because Alabama is very, very, very similar to Bogota, to Colombia,
mm,
where it is very family oriented. Families live nearby. Yeah, many people walk to church if you live close by the church. But you see people walking to the restaurant. But the other thing that you see is the hospitality.
yeah.
Back then, it was beautiful. Like we moved in. One of the things I say is that we moved into a house that we were renting a house, and they were finishing construction. It was supposed to be finished, but we had to move in. We had nowhere else to go. We decided
Mhm.
to move in, and they had not finished with the kitchen area, so we didn't have anything. And all the neighbors took turns to bring dinner
Oh, that's
every
beautiful.
night. Yeah, it was beautiful. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm coming from Bogota, Colombia, which is a big city. And I was surprised. I'm like, this never happened in Colombia unless it's your own family. And then they brought us the food, and it was beautiful. And we all sat down at the porch and ate with them and the children and things like that. And then you'll wake up to deer on your
Aw,
backyard. Yes.
yeah. Hi, Heidi here. Thank you so much for listening and supporting my podcast, but most importantly, the mission. If you would like to further support this podcast, there are a few ways you can do that. You can sign up for the newsletter. You'll receive the episodes straight to your inbox every time they drop. The link is in the show notes and the show description. You can subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel. And lastly, you can donate money. That link is also in the show notes and show description. If you would like to sponsor an episode or promote your business on this show, send me an email at Heidi@HeidiDeLaCruz.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the episode.
It
What
was
was,
beautiful.
when you first moved, what was the first cultural shock that you experienced?
Not the food. To me, it
The
was the
food?
food. Yes.
Okay.
Being used to eat fresh fruit, fresh veggies,
Mhm.
and then suddenly everything, and the eggs were yellow. So the eggs in Colombia, the ones that we used to eat were from a farm. So they're
Mhm.
orange. The yolk is orange
Okay.
and so rich in flavor. So they I was like, why are they yellow?
Yellow. Funny because I just recently saw like some recent eggs that we've been buying. They're orange. And I thought that was weird because I'm used to the yellow. So I was like, wait, is it supposed to be orange?
They're really good.
So funny. Yeah, I was like, oh, I mean, they're good, but I was like, is it supposed to be orange? But that's so funny how you had the opposite reaction.
Yes, yes. And then the food, the taste of the food, actually 3 months in, I got sick to my stomach
Because your
because
body had
of,
to adjust.
yes, it was
Yeah.
like the process, the way the food is processed and everything is
Mhm.
different. And then here you go to you don't go to the fresh market as much. You go to the supermarket, which
Mhm.
has a lot of preservatives and things like that. Jokes about English and Spanish preservatives are conservatives.
Oh, yes.
Then things that mean different things in Spanish
Yeah.
and English. So jokes that we made. Um, but yes, and I think that I started in construction ever since I moved here because um they were finishing the house and I used to
Mm.
like I learned a lot of things about construction and how the drywall is put up and things like that when we were living there. They were making other houses. So my father and I used to go and pick and see what they were doing. So
Yeah.
those were beautiful. Those are very, very beautiful memories that I have.
Nice. So since you came as an adult, I like to ask my guests if they had any expectations of the US before they arrived. Because I know like a lot of the answers that I get, is like they get this idea of the United States, from books and movies and TV, right? Pretty much. So
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, did you have any like expectations of the United States before coming or not really?
No, not really. I was fortunate enough that I had family already living here. So I had been coming to US ever since I was 7 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I started coming. The only difference is making sure that you are no longer on vacations.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yes, one of my friends who was one of my first guests was my friend, and that was one of the answers she told me. She was like, grew up in Puerto Rico, would visit the United States all the time, but then it was like once I moved, it was like, okay, you're not in vacation anymore, like you're here to stay. It was like a
yes,
mindset change.
yes, exactly. It's a mindset. It's something that you need to switch because otherwise you spend all your money in the first month. Um,
Yes.
but that was one of the things and the other thing was basically when you come on vacations, everything is new and beautiful. And also, when I came here, I was young. Although I was an adult, I was in my mid 20s. So I was not apprehensive of learning anything. Everything was exciting. Everything is,
Yeah.
you're at that
Yeah.
age and everything is exciting and the new things and the new people and, you're eager to learn new things. So it was good for me. But the only other thing was not being able to be with your family and your friends. And being in Alabama was very tough because you had to drive miles and miles to be able to find a way to communicate with your family. It's not like today. It wasn't like
Mm,
today that you have your cell phone and you can call.
yeah.
No, back then you had a little. Oh, I had prepared and I left it in my room. A little phone card.
The calling cards. Yep.
The calling cards is
Mm,
$5 and you get 10 minutes. And then
yeah.
in Alabama, they only sold them at Walmart. Otherwise, if you wanted to call one of the Latin call cards, you had to drive like 50 miles, I think 40 miles to get to the first Colombian store. Um,
Wow.
and, and then just to buy $5 worth of
Yeah,
calling card.
$10. Aw.
Yes.
How was it visiting Colombia the first time after you moved?
That was a culture shock. Um,
Yeah.
Colombia was totally different. I was a
Mhm.
little devastated. I left a beautiful Bogota, and when I got there, it was like there was a lot of people. It was change. The noise.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I was like, so
It's
much noise on the
it's loud.
streets.
Yeah.
but I was very happy. We did a party. My family threw a party for me, so I was
Oh,
able to see everybody at once. But I realized that it's like I was like, no, I love my country and I will come and visit, but I don't think I can live there anymore. I'm Americanized already.
yeah.
The traffic. I
Mm.
I didn't drive. I didn't drive, and I used to drive everywhere. I didn't drive.
Couldn't
Even though
drive,
they told me, and they were, and I was like, no, I'm not driving.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
we drove by my house, my parents' house, and I didn't recognize it. They're like, do you know
Wow.
where you are? And I'm like, no. Everything has changed so much that I'm like, no. We used to live down that street. I'm like,
Wow. And now do you visit frequently or
no, not that much. I think that for work, and well, I cannot say not that much because we had the COVID, and
oh yeah, yeah.
so it's kind of like difficult. And my sister and my niece came here already, so we kind of rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Every other year, they come or we go.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
we haven't had a chance to go back, but we would like to. One of the things that I miss is Navidad, Christmas in Colombia.
Christmas. Yes. Christmas, I feel like in our Latin countries are much more lively than what it is
Yes,
here. Yeah.
yes.
Aw. And what would you say is your American dream? Or what does the American dream mean to you?
I will say that my American dream was to live free, to be able to pursue my dreams. As an entrepreneur now, I know it would have been very difficult to do it in Colombia. And I think it is possible because I'm in here in this country
Mm.
and everything is so easy. And you really can live your dreams. And the freedom to walk outside at 8 at night and nothing happening to you. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And Maritza, I know you talked a little bit earlier about your business, but I do want to give you the opportunity to share a little bit more how people can connect with you, if they want to hire you or if they want to follow you and stay in touch. How can people do that?
Sure, thank you so much. My business is MP Virtual Assist, and we are a boutique of podcast booking agents that work with speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs and authors as well that want to increase their visibility by positioning themselves in top rated podcast. So we help them, we do the research, we book them, and we do a lot of other things. We have a done for you service. And on top of on other things, we help also with virtual assistant services. And you can reach me at info@mp-virtualassist.com.
Perfect. And I will include your links in the show notes so people can get in contact. And Marisa, thank you so much for this again, for being able to recording again, and just for sharing your beautiful story. Any last words or anything, any words of encouragement for our listeners?
Well, I always like to say that for anyone who is coming from another country, things are difficult everywhere.
Mm.
And things are not easy. You're in a new country, everything is different. Just merging with the culture, you will find fascinating people. And if you want to make your dream come true by opening your own business, do so because you will be amazed the people that you meet.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, do it. Whatever it is that you're dreaming about, find out how to get it done, the steps needed, and do it. Life is way too short to be wondering what if. That's what I like to say.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.